South Africa is facing a gender-based violence crisis as more than 2,700 women were killed last year. With people in lockdown and alcohol sales once again open, predictions are that more women will die from gender-based violence than from the virus itself. Sage Foundation, in partnership with the Soul City, developed Rainbow. It's a chatbot that uses artificial intelligence to chat with users and provide accurate information on domestic violence. Now, we are joined to speak about this by Joanne Van Der Walt from Sage Foundation about the new addition to the fight against domestic violence. Joanne, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I mean, just given the scourge of GBV and femicide rates in South Africa to date, which seems to just be increasing as the reports roll in. Walk us through the significance of developing such an artificial intelligent device at this point.
Hi, Liezel. Thanks for having me. So, you know, one of the reasons why we decided to develop Rainbow was because it allowed us to offer a non-human response to a very human problem. So, like you said, Rainbow is a chatbot. It lives on the Facebook Messenger platform. It's very discreet. It's safe, non-judgmental, and what's nice is it's also scalable. So it allows us to reach millions of people. And it's specifically there to help women identify the signs of abuse. So what's happened over the last couple of weeks is probably too late for something like Rainbow. You know, we need interventions that can get in there earlier. No abuser flips a switch and one day decides to kill their partner. It happens over a period of time. And what Rainbow allows women to do is identify those signs of abuse early on in the relationship.
Joanne, you speak about a non-human response to human responses. I'm just looking at the language that is used in such sensitive cases and perhaps the non-human response by Rainbow. I mean, how have you managed to incorporate and balance that? You know, just given the situation, of course, it's obviously different from human to human.
Totally. And when we developed Rainbow, we hosted a whole lot of focus groups, beta testing with a couple of thousand users. And there were three main reasons why women don't report abuse. The one is stigma, so either from their families or their communities around, you know, what did you do to provoke him, or why has this happened? So they don't report it and they don't talk about it. The second reason is safety, to seek help, and they often live with their abusers, so it's not safe. And finally, trust in the system. There was a big lack of trust in the system. So we thought that by providing a chatbot, which is a complete alternative to command centers and non-profits that do amazing work in this space, we may, you know, there may be space for that. And right now we have 18,000 users that have had about 834,000 conversations with Rainbow.
Joanne, you know, this is an artificial intelligent device, and obviously data in this fourth industrial revolution is key. Looking at the data that has been received to date and perhaps just analyzing that data to look at patterns, trends, and even insights, what has emerged that you can share with us today, and how is this going to be perhaps used to fight the scourge of GBV and femicide rates in South Africa?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I get asked that quite often. So what we have noticed is when we originally did some extrapolation of data, we found that only 1 in every 1,000 users of Rainbow used the term violence when they spoke about their own abusive relationships. So instead they use things like, my relationship doesn't feel right, and is this normal, what I'm experiencing? So the themes that emerged were users want access to legal information. They're seeking information around alcohol, so that was something you raised earlier. You know, now that the ban on alcohol has been lifted, alcohol is obviously a big issue when it comes to, there's a big link between domestic violence and access to alcohol. We know that during lockdown there's been a big spike in domestic violence, and that's obviously resulting in financial worries and access to alcohol. So, yeah, the patterns have been specifically around legal information, access to AA and different resources such as the SA Command Center, SA Anxiety and Depression Group, etc.
Just looking at the team that conceptualized Rainbow, perhaps the costs that were incurred, and also how the artificial intelligence device can also be adapted to different scenarios and be repurposed. I mean, what does that scenario look like?
So, you know, we had to be quite adaptable when COVID happened. So we did add additional resources to Rainbow. The way it's structured is that it's a series of stories that the user can access. So it's stories around financial abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, gaslighting. So we gave a couple of scenarios that users were able to access, and then they sort of identify whether it's them or a family member or a sibling or someone else that's going through that, and hopefully signposts or point them to Rainbow. The other way that Rainbow works is through natural language. So if users go in and actually type in questions, and Rainbow either answers them or signposts them to a resource.
All right, and actually speaking of which, I just wanted to find out whether, you know, if someone is using the service and an alarm bell is raised, I mean, does Rainbow also assist in reporting the information, or is that left solely up to the individual? How have you managed to balance that process?
Yeah, so there's a handoff process. Rainbow can't be all things, and it is ultimately just a bot. So that's quite a lot of responsibility to put onto a machine. So what we would typically do is say, you know, this is where you need to go next, or why don't you contact this resource? And over time, we build onto those resources. We add more and more charity partners and more and more, you know, numbers, websites, etc., that people can go to seek help. So what it's called handing off the user to an additional resource. Rainbow wouldn't actually retain that information and report it to anyone, no.